It's that time here in the Spotless Stadium, and we'd love you to put your hands together, get excited, and start clapping and cheering. Would you please welcome the voice of rodeo, Mr. Glenn Morgan.
Well, good evening, Sydney, and welcome to the Spotless Arena and our sixth and final round of the 2016 International Teams Rodeo competition between arch rivals New Zealand and Australia. Well, so far throughout the first 5 nights of this event, we've had bull riding, steer wrestling, saddle bronc riding. We have seen it all. And it's come right down to the final competition in the bull riding event that generally determines which team is the champion. Well, tonight, folks, we want you to welcome into the arena as we get set for showtime the New Zealand Cowboys, led out by their team captain. Let's have it for Ross Dowling. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long, tough week here in Sydney, and these guys have really put their body on the line. But the men and women of country and regional Australia, from Western Australia, Queensland, Victoria, and our home state of New South Wales, let's welcome the Green and Gold Cowboys of Australia, led out by team captain Robert Bandy.
Good luck, guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this point of time, we generally stop for the anthems of the respective countries. However, they were played in the woodchop finals just moments ago. So as we are about to get set for rodeo action, the New Zealand Cowboys have requested the opportunity to perform their very own traditional New Zealand haka.
Taringa whakarongo! Karite! Karite! Come on! Hiaringa pakia! Woi woi! Takia! Hoki on it! Hoki!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it's rodeo time in Sydney. Oh, yeah, you can tell they are here primed and pumped for the 6th and final round of our international series. And no team in New Zealand has come here with more passion than the Cowboys and Cowgirls. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we start the night of rodeo competition with an event we call the Suicide Ride. Known as the Bareback bronc riding competition, contestants ride with a suitcase-type handle. It's an 8-second competition, and in this event tonight, we welcome into the arena our livestock pickup riders, the Kelly boys from the Horton Valley of New South Wales, that being David and Peter Kelly, to assist with the riders' dismount. Well, we're going to start with the Australian contestant first and foremost here tonight. Well, it's getting rough and tough already as we look down at the chute gates. First contestant out in our competition, the bareback bronc riding, shall be Cody Anglin. Now, in this particular event, the contestants ride with that suitcase handle. It's very physical. It's probably the most demanding event in the sport of rodeo competition. Now, you've got to take into consideration this is their 6th consecutive night. Well, we're going to move down one. We've had a little problem here with the first rider. We're going to move down to a young man that's had to step up here this afternoon. Now, this is Braden Welby. Braden's only 19 years of age. Now, what's happened, one of the Australian bareback riders, Jack Kidd, was hurt last night. He has to be replaced by another team member. Now, bear in mind, this young 19-year-old boy from Townsville has never, ever ridden in the bareback riding here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. He's a very, very professional bull rider. He was 81 and 80 in the first rounds. From Townsville, North Queensland, Braden Welby. Come on, Sydney, let's cheer him on. First-time performer for Team Sydney. Well, I tell you what, his mum and dad competed here at the Sydney Show way back in the 80s and 90s. And this young 19-year-old contestant has followed on in a family tradition. Hey, Sydney, he showed plenty of spirit for Team Australia, young Braden Welby. Well, that young man, he works in the live export industry. 65 points, Braden, 65. Now, the way in which our situation works, in Teams Rodeo competition, we now focus on the opposing team member from New Zealand. They will be represented by the boy from Twizel in the South Island, Stuart DeRitter. Stuart's 31 years of age. He placed third in the round last night with a score of 71 points. Been the ultra consistent of their bareback riders with scores of 69, 73, 72, 71 last night. Now the horse that he's drawn, this is King of Roses. The colourful little skewball horse from the Gary McPhee Rodeo Company. Now remember, New Zealand will need to score more than 65 points to pick up the 2 points for their team in the competition. Keep your eyes glued. It'll be action-packed here shortly. New Zealand rider making those final preparations. Absolutely no control over the bucking horse. 8 seconds starts once that horse crosses the imaginary chute gate line. Gates are back. New Zealand's on. Well, he's chasing more than 65. Where's the New Zealand Cowboys? Hang on, Stuart, hang on. Well, it's going to be close, ladies and gentlemen. The New Zealand Cowboy. Well, he's elected to take the hard way down here tonight. We'll have a score through from the officials. Mark Palmer and Jeff Edwards, the noted judges here tonight. Both former Australian champions in our sport of rodeo competition. Well, it's a 65-point score once again. Now, the situation with that is 2 points for both team members. 2 points Queensland, 2 to New South Wales, with a tie in the score. Well, I can assure you this next competitor for Team Australia, hasn't he been in a purple patch of his career? He's white hot. Cody Anglin from Wantabadgery. Listen to his strike rate here in Sydney. 78 one night, 76 the next, 77, 79, and last night 73. 2 times Australian champion. He's also a top saddle bronc rider. Let's hear for the Sydney Cowboy, ladies and gentlemen. Wantabadgery Team Australia lays back, gives it all for an 8-second ride. And once again, he's qualified in our competition. Folks, he's had the toughest week of all, but he has led by example. From Wantabadgery, New South Wales, Cody Anglin. Well, Cody's competed at the world biggest events in the USA and Canada. Numbers coming through. Bear in mind that half the score devoted to the livestock, further half for the Cowboys riding style. 70 points it was that time. 7-0 for Cody Anglin. Well, he'll be opposed here tonight by the man that's only 20 years of age. From Rotorua, Jake Andrews. Jake works as a fencing contractor each time. Well, he's chasing that big score, and boy, he's cutting loose the cowboy from New Zealand. Laid back, flamboyant, and that siren sounds. Well, in this event, you can see the desperation on his face as the pickup riders move in. Well, he's on the ground, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put our hands together for him. Jake Andrews, 20 years of age, second-year New Zealand representative. $69 points for Jake, so that'll be 2 points. Team Australia, 1 to New Zealand. Cody England with a 70-point score picks up the match of the round. Well, brace your teeth and hang on with all money from Western Australia. This is Bindoon Western Australian Jared Oversby. 28 years of age, he was our 2012 National Bareback Champion, but it's Cheyenne Brave time. Well, he's a fun-loving, good-time Western Australian cowboy right here from the Nullarbor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you look at his neck brace, his body. He has been through all parts of this country in the bareback bronc riding competition. Now it's the Kelly boys. David Kelly at the head takes in, eases down. Folks, he's safely on the arena surface. Let's hear for the boy from Western Australia, from Bindoon. And tonight, 74 points from the officials. 74 points, 7-4. Well, the horses will be evenly matched as we get set to go with the next matchup in this event. Hey, here's the boy, 21 years of age, this time from Courier. This is Matto Taylor. He's a livestock agent. He was second in the first round here last Thursday night with 69 points. Best score so far was 72 points in round number 2. He was bucked off in last night's round. He would like to make amends here for Team New Zealand. Matto Taylor from Courier, New Zealand. Man, oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, what a horse from the Gary McPhee Rodeo Company. Hey, Sydney, let's hear for the boy, Matto Taylor. And what a horse. That was Mandy's boy. Well, we promised you some action, and that's why we have rodeo here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. New Zealand and Australia's best cowboys take on the Gary McPhee Rodeo stock. And boy, Matto Taylor, he was one jump slammed down and completely thrown into the arena surface here this afternoon. So, ladies and gentlemen, after the first event on our program tonight, it's New Zealand 3 and Australia 6. Well, if you didn't think the sport of rodeo was tough, you watched the replay of that last bareback rider, Matto Taylor. Well, we come down to what we call the time event end of the arena. This is an event generally dominated by the bigger and stronger competitors in the sport of rodeo competition. Now, in this event tonight, 2 competitors compete in tandem. The steer wrestling event, competitors have the opportunity to use a hazer. Now, the hazer's job is to make sure the steer runs as fast and as straight as he possibly can. Both competitors start from behind our light system. You'll see a red, amber and green light. It's quite simple to follow for our spectators. First person to catch and roll his steer on the side will be our winner. Now from Australia, from Scone in the Hunter Valley, Heath Nichols, and from Tapa, New Zealand, David Gibson. And it looks like it is going to be 2 points Australia, 1 to New Zealand. Well, David Gibson, he's 37 years of age from Taupo. He made a nice run, but it was the brutal force of our national Australian champion, Heath Nichols from Scone. He won the first round. He was first in the third round. And boy, he has consolidated his place here tonight with a nice, smooth, slick run in the opening match of steer wrestling. Well, There'll be 2 rounds of the steer wrestling here tonight. It has certainly been a very, very popular event amongst our spectators, and the big boy of rodeo competition will come back once again after the saddle bronc riding. Now, our next matchup in the competition will be between the cowboy from Tamworth up in the country music capital, Blake Hallam. Blake was a 2014 National Steer Wrestling Champion. He works as a master farrier in the equine industry. Blake Hallam won last night's event in round number 5 with a time of 6 seconds flat. He takes on the contestant from Waikiki, Greg Lamb. Greg's 37 years of age. He's already won 2 rounds here this week. Oh, man. Well, I'll check from the head judge and officials. Ladies and gentlemen, there's milliseconds in it, but it goes to Australia, Blake Hallam. Well, the New Zealanders are unlucky. Greg Lamb from Waikiki. Greg won first in the second round. He was first in the 4th round with times of 5 and 5.6. But tonight it was Blake Hallam that posted the quickest time in steer wrestling competition. Well, scoreboards are solid. New Zealand 5. The Australians keep dominating. They keep holding on. At this point of time, Team Australia still on 10 points. Well, competitors in this particular sport ride what we call the Australian quarter horses. Now, they're a little different to the horses you see in the Grand Prix show jumping or the hacking events. This particular breed have got a heavily muscled appearance. They've got a very long, defined, sloping shoulder, gives them the acceleration power from a standing start to get into position as quick as they possibly can. Now, representing Australia this time from Walgett in Western New South Wales, Glenn Chafe, a second-generation champion. He won the Australian title in 2012. His dad, Russell, competed here way back in the 80s and 90s. And he takes on John Day from Hamilton. Well, they get down. New Zealand's made a catch, and John Day's got to hang on. He does so. It'll be 2 points to New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, let's hear it for the Kiwi cowboy. John Day, 2 times national champion, picks up a valued 2 points in that section of steer wrestling. Well, as we come back to the bucking chutes, let's turn to the big screen, the spotless big screen. Hey, have we got anybody here from New Zealand supporting their team? Well, there's a sprinkling out there in the crowd. Well, who would like to see the Australians win tonight? Well, we see it every year in the rugby union. We see it in the rugby league. We see it in the cricket, where the New Zealanders are renowned for their comeback and their fighting spirit. Let's hope with the big hometown support here in Sydney, we can get the Australian Cowboys back right into this competition and maintain that lead. Well, as the contestants get ready to ride, it looks like it's going to be the team captain of Australia. First out here tonight in the saddle bronc riding competition. And Robert Bandy. Well, Robert's one of 4 brothers that have been horsemen, born and raised into a horseman family, and haven't they done well? Brothers, of course, Scott, Allen have been in the USA, live in Canada for a long period of time. Robert's captained the Australian boys for 4 or 5 years. Robert now, his wife and their young family are based on the Warra Creek Station, just up north of the Hunter Valley in New South Wales. Now he will be looking to make that 8-second qualified ride in the competition. Horse that he's drawn, it's Kid Ridiculous. Robert was first in the second round with a score of 78 points. He was first in the 4th round with a score of 79. Well, they're the scores to beat. Robert Bandy has been very, very ultra consistent. One of the toughest horsemen I've ever seen. Competes in the Kuriong Man from Snowy River Challenge each and every year. Going to once again sit deep down in that international saddle. Let's wish him well, the Australian team captain. Very, very proud of his performances so far this week. Just got to make sure that horse stands nice and square in the chute. You can see the fellow competitors help him get down in that saddle. We're just about set to ride. Let's see what he does. Robert Bendy, Team Australia. Hey, look at the spurring action, folks. He's making that ride look so easy in that 8-second qualified zone. Well, he's made that siren, and our pickup riders, Peter Kelly will move in, get him safely onto the ground. Hey, Sydney, there it is, our team captain of the green and gold team, Robert Bendy. Scores come through from our officials here tonight. Both judges tally the numbers. They've come up with a score of 72 points. 72 points for Rob, 7-2. Well, it's back down to New Zealand, and they're going to need some good scores and high scores in this round of the competition to be any chance of taking the lead. Well, as our next competitor gets down in that saddle, he is from Tutra in the North Island of New Zealand. Graham Gannon. He was the runner-up saddle bronc riding champion of New Zealand in 2015. Horse that he's drawn tonight, it's Miss Kingsway. Can't underestimate the capabilities of this little horse. New Zealand runner-up champion. Chasing a score in the competition of 72 points. And there it is, that siren sounds in the background. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these New Zealand boys have done everything possible here tonight. Hey, put your hands together for him, the boy from Tutura, Graham Gannon. $64 points, Graham, 64. 64 points will be a 1 point for the New Zealand riders, 2 for Australia, with a 72-point score set by Robert Bendy. Well, in this event, our judges are very critical of the timing of the ride, the contestant's control, his body position, all attributes to the overall 72-point score. Half of the score devoted to the Cowboys' riding style, his coordination, his balance, his ability to outmaneuver the bucking horses every single move and action. We've got to acknowledge the work of our great horsemen out here this weekend. Of course, the Kelly boys from the Horton Valley. They're second-generation horsemen at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. As I call back many, many years, the 70s and 80s, their dad, Bill Kelly, picked up here at the Sydney at the old Paddington Showground. And now their sons, Peter and David, perform the exact same duties. Well, our attention turns back to Team Australia. Little man from a town called Currabubula, south of Tamworth. This is Danny Swadling. Danny's a saddler by trade. He won the third round here at the show with a score of 76 points. He was second last night with a score of 73. I Walk Alone, the name of the horse for Danny Swadling. Well, takes that little run, now starts to perform the duties. Danny Swadling is one of the many boys riding under some pretty serious injuries here this weekend. Has had a tough week. His knees have played havoc with him throughout the first part of this competition. And you'll see when he makes that walk back, folks, he's in a little pain. It's been a tough week for Danny Swadling. $65 points. 65 points for a battered and bruised Danny Swadling. 65. Well, let's get set to go because there's an opportunity about to unfold here tonight for Ross Dowling. Hey, here's the team captain of New Zealand. He's from the South Island, from a little town called Dunedin. He was second in the competition back on round number 3, made a score of 77 points. Now, the horse that he's drawn is one of the favoured horses amongst the riders. Horse called Cajun Man. He generally jumps and kicks pretty straight. A nice horse to perform the timing of the ride, but you've got to weather that storm. You've got to stay in control. Ross spent last year in the United States of America, competed up there as far as Canada. Now let's see what he does in the competition. Synchronises that spurring ride, chasing a 65 points or better. And he's made a great ride here tonight, folks. The team captain of New Zealand, that was Ross Dowling. Well, he's on the fence. He's happy to be there, I can assure you, folks. Hey, Sydney, let's put our hands together for the efforts of all of our Kiwis here tonight. Well, the numbers come through for the New Zealand riders. 75 points, a top score in tonight's round of the series. Well, Ross, it's been a tough week here in Sydney, but tonight you must feel a lot better. You started to turn things around with a good score.
Yeah, hopefully we can just carry on and the boys can keep going with it and we can catch them. I'm a bit puffed.
You're a bit buffed. He's had a big week, folks. There's our leader, team captain, 75 points, Ross Dowling from Dunedin, New Zealand. Well, 75 points, 2 points New Zealand, 1 to Australia. Still only 3 points separating. Well, let's go to Bernie McMore from Walker, Northern New South Wales. He's a property manager. He won the first round of the series back last Thursday night with a 75-point score. Corryong Kid is a name this time for Bernard McMore. Former Macleay Valley cowboy, moved to the Highlands and the Tablelands. Runner-up Australian champion, former Rookie of the Year, and of course, international overseas experience. To his credit, from Walker, New South Wales, the Northern New England cowboy, Bernie McMore. $69 points, 69. Okay, just had a quick correction from our officials. It's a 70-point score. 70 points, Bernie, a little better, 70 points. Well, as we get set to go with the contestant this time from Invercargill, South Island of New Zealand, this is Wade Marshall. Made's only 21 years of age, and boy, hang on, cowboy! Man, ladies and gentlemen, I can't pronounce the word that he said, but boy, he was a long, long way into orbit. Hey, Sydney, let's have a big, big round of applause. Watch this on the big screen. Remember, these are the Gary McPhee Rodeo stock from Benalla in Victoria. Man, oh man, that was a great little horse. That was Cheyenne Top Girl, 3 times the bucket horse of Australia. And isn't she an outstanding rodeo horse? Gary McPhee and his lovely wife Anna have bred these horses all the way down in Benalla, Victoria. Made the long journey up the Hume Highway to be a part of our Sydney Royal Easter Show International Series. Well, as we get set to go with the second round of the big men's event, the steer wrestling competition, round number 2. Well, we've got Australia on a handy lead of 15. New Zealand are hanging in. They're hanging in, and that's all they need to do. Each time, they just stay close enough to strike before it's all over. Okay, we're set to go with the next matchup in our competition. Representing Australia for the second time here tonight will be Heath Nichols. Won his first match up. He won the first and the third round of our series back on Thursday and Saturday night. Heath Nichols matched up against John Day from Hamilton. They get down together, and it's going to be, come on, 2 points to New Zealand. The Hamilton contestant picks up 2 valuable points for Team New Zealand. Well, that's the consistent performers that win our international series. You need to strike on every beast, on every horse, and it's New Zealand John Day, the man that comes good that time. Well, as we midway through our steer wrestling, I look down to the rodeo chutes, and you'll see some of the biggest bovines of the Sydney Royal Easter Show. The bull riding competition will be our next event on the program. And last night, we did not have a single score in the bull riding competition. Okay, we've got this event to wrap up, and we're going to go with the contestants representing Waikiki. 37 years of age, Greg Lamb has been by far the biggest money earner in the steer wrestling for New Zealand. He was first in the second round, he was first in the fourth round, and he takes on the winner of last night's competition in Blake Hallam from Tamworth. Blake was 6 flat to win the individual series last night. Let's see what they do this round. New Zealand, Australia, they get down solid. It is Australia's 2 points. Now Greg Lamb's got to hold his steer together to pick up any points for his team. Now, he's going to need a little bit of help, a little bit of work, and he's finally rolled him out for the 1 point in steer wrestling. Greg Lamb back on his feet, but a very, very valuable 1 point for their team in the competition. Well, as these guys make their long journey back, just imagine this is the 6th consecutive night here in the Spotless Arena for our rodeo competitors from New Zealand and Australia. It's been a long, grueling series this year, and these guys' bodies, well, they're a little battered and bruised, and I've seen some of the bruises in this sport, and I can assure you it has been one of the hardest weeks of competition we've ever seen in Sydney. Well, final matchup in the steer wrestling competition from Taupo, New Zealand, David Gibson. You know, these guys come from all walks of life, from various occupations. David works as an engineer. He's 37 years of age, but steer wrestling and a rodeo are his driven passion. He takes on Glenn Chae from Walgett, the 2012 National Champion of Australia. Scores at this point of time, only 4 points separating first and second in the team's rodeo competition. They get down into position. New Zealand make the catch down to Australia. They've got to hang in there. They've got to roll them out. It is going to be 2 points Australia. And the boy from Walgett, Glenn Chae. New Zealand contestant, boy, he's having a little trouble. He's got to stay shaped up. Hey, Sydney, we could give him a little support. Hang in there, hang in there. Come on, Sydney, cheer for him. Come on. Come on, yeah! Well, all of that hard work for 1 single point. But that is the fighting spirit of the Kiwis, ladies and gentlemen. He will pick up 1 point, but at this stage, who knows? It may be the 1 point they need to win the individual series. Well, as we get set to go with our next event coming up here tonight, it looks like it's going to be the Brahman bull riding competition. What a night we've got in store for you. In captivity. Well, folks, it is Tuesday night in Sydney, the 6th round, the last round of our international series for 2016. Hey, folks, are you ready for bull riding? Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we're going to move down one of the matchups in the competition. We're going to go with the second of our matchups, and this will be Jason O'Hearn, Team Australia. Well, Jason is our 2015 National Bull Riding Champion. I'll let you know a little secret. He's the Australian champion, and he is 36 years of age. Now, he is certainly one of the most... Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've just got with me here tonight the man that we just saw qualify in the bull riding, Jason O'Hearn. It's been a tough week. You won a round 2 nights ago. It was good to get another one done here this afternoon.
Yeah, it was, Glenn. You come here with high expectations to help your teammates out, and I feel like I let them down a bit this week. So, yeah, it's good to get a couple rode and help them out, mate.
Well, for everybody here in Sydney, they thought you did a real good job, as I did. Tonight, folks, the first of our Australian riders to qualify. 76 points for our national Australian champion, Jason O'Hearn. Well, let's get set to go with the next of our New Zealand riders. This will be Mick Rowson. Mick's 25 years of age. He's another of the big money winners from the team of New Zealand. Second year representing their country. Now, as you've already seen here tonight, bull riding, it's all about challenging the opposing team member. Jason O'Hearn from Australia has already marked us 76 points on the board. Mick Rowson is on a bull called Blood and Bone. He placed third in the third round with a score of 75 points. And as he tries to ease his body down onto this bull, you can see that it tries to break his concentration. It's all about the intimidation. And you could imagine as he takes that wrap, the bull throws his head and horns back, just tries to break Mick's concentration. Now, you watch here closely on the big screen, you'll see how he physically ties the rope in and around behind his wrist. He'll twist it twice, clench that fist nice and hard. Now, the opportunity now is to ease right up as far forward as you can. You need to be right up off your pockets. If you sit flat, of course, the centrifugal force will bring you down early. Bull riding, it's all about being nice and square with the upper body, keeping the chin tucked. Now, the bull's not helping. He's trying to get him off his game from the start. Now it's Mick Rowson's turn. New Zealand, up, down, out of shape, in spot of bother. Now, Warren Norton, and what about Brodie Moss, ladies and gentlemen? How good are these guys? Hey, let's hear it from Sydney. Our protection clowns swing into action, and the battle zone begins. What a great job from those protection men here tonight. Both of them did their job straight up. Well, that'll be 2 points to Team Australia, 2 points in their favour at this point of time. Well, let's come down to the youngest of our Australian team members. He's 19 years of age, from Townsville, North Queensland, Braden Welby. Now, 2 nights in a row, he won the series in bull riding. He was 81 points. He was 80 in the second round. What's he going to do tonight? The whiz kid from Townsville, Braden Welby, in a little bother. Out of shape. That's a little disappointing for one of the whiz bull riders. Folks, how about a round of applause? He is disappointed with his efforts, I know, at this point. That is not the expectations Braden Welby was hoping for. Well, the action's going to move down to the next of the New Zealand riders, this time from Hamilton. 27 years of age, this is Tim MacArthur. He's the eldest of the MacArthur boys. Brother Jack competed for New Zealand here last year. This young man is a second-generation cowboy. His dad, Hank, rodeoed here in Australia back in the, I guess it'd be right back in the 70s and 80s, and now the next generation of their family take on to bull riding. Once again, watch the rope. Watch the way they tie that rope in behind the wrist. It'll come back over a second time, clench the fist nice and tight, and get set for the ride of his life. The Toro tricks. This bull's got attitude. He means business, and when he does, he'll wind it on hard and fast. You're going to need to be forward. You're going to need to forward plan your operations here tonight. Well, it's all happened too quick. Once again, it's not been a great show for that man. Disappointed in the competition that time was Tim MacArthur. Well, it's down to the third and final member of the Australian bull riding team. Here's the young man all the way from Gin, Western Australia. He travelled across the Nullarbor to be at our Sydney Royal Easter Show. This is Wade McCarthy. Now, Wade was the 2014 National Bull Riding Champion of Australia. He's the first of the Western Australian Bull Riding Champions. And tonight, he takes on Little Joe. In the third round, he was 77 points to win that competition. Wade McCarthy, final of our Australian riders here to seal the deal. Time to get it on for the WA boy. Well, we'll wait and see what the judges say, Mark Palmer and Jeff Edwards. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as great supporters of our rodeo here tonight, do you think our contestant from Western Australia deserves a re-ride? Well, you've got it straight from the judges. A re-ride has been awarded from the officials, Mark Palmer and, of course, Jeff Edwards. Another bull will come forward into the chutes for that contestant. A re-ride has been awarded for that contestant. So we get to do it all over again for the Western Australian contestant. Well, we're just going to take a couple of little partners down that way to catch up with young Stumpy, and of course we'll try and get him persuaded to come back this way. It's his first night at the show here in the bull riding competition. Just got to familiarise himself with the surroundings and of course understand that the hay shed is back in this direction. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we've only got a couple more bull riders to go here tonight. We've got another 8 rounds of rodeo here in the Spotless Arena during the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Tomorrow night at 6:30, we've got Australia's richest Poley buck jump riding competition, and it's all about bringing a little heritage to the Sydney Royal Easter Show. A little bit of the old-style rodeo events will be staged here tomorrow night with fresh faces. Ringers from the outback. We've got stockmen from Northern Territory, from Queensland, from Western Australia, all competing in the old-style saddle buck jump riding competition in the Poley events. Well, as you can understand, our arena staff are working overtime right at this point of time. We've got to try and get this bull from the arena before we proceed with our next competitor. It's all about the safety aspect, and of course, we don't want to cause any more injuries than necessary. And this little bull gets all the respect he truly deserves. He said, I'll go out, but I'll go out when I'm ready. You won't rush me in any way, shape or form. But it looks like the final of our New Zealand riders is set. Hey, and here's their youngest bull rider, Ernie Rika. 23 years of age from Rotorua on the North Island. The bull that is drawn Broken Promises. Hey, Kiwi, hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. Well, ladies ladies and gentlemen, we've got thumbs up. The numbers are there for our proud tradition. Well, what a way to get bull riding underway here tonight. We've still got that re-ride, that bull riding ride to come through for our Australian contestant. Once again, just getting this little bull, Broken Promises, out of the arena. Whoa, I tell you what, Warren, you need to be a little careful out there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just as we start to get ready for our next competitor in the bull riding competition here tonight, folks, I'd like to bring to the forefront a man that has done New Zealand proud here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Ernie Rika. Hey, Ernie, you're a very, very passionate Kiwi. I saw you perform that to haka earlier tonight, and it really gets that heart bumping, doesn't it?
Oh, sure does, yeah. Sort of bit hard on the voice at the moment, after 3 nights of that one.
Hey, bro, it's all right, man. We're in Australia, hey? You know, hey, Ernie, it's absolutely amazing to have you guys come out here. It brings a new flavour and a new voice to the rodeo competition. And you're going to come back next year?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, they are the proudest bunch of Maori boys that you'll ever run across. Put your hands together. 74 points for Eric Rika, Kiwi. Yes, sir, I will be back. Well, we've got one re-ride yet to go in the bull riding competition here tonight. It's Team Australia. And it's the boy from Western Australia, Wade McCarthy. Well, he's all the way from Gin, right across that Nullarbor to be here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Expectations are high. He was our national Australian champion back in 2014. He's a second-generation cowboy. His dad, Steve, is here at the show this year. His uncle, Neville, one of Australia's all-time great champion cowboys. So the McCarthy name is well and truly established in Australian history and, of course, the sport of rodeo here this week. Wade McCarthy scores at this stage. The Australians have a nice lead, 21-14, in the 6th and final night of rodeo competition. Just taking those final preparations. We get to see that contestant in the preparation in the chute. Just trying to get that rope positioned in the middle of his back. You'll see a handhold. There it is, that thin leather glove. Got to try and get that hand in nice and easy. Just having a little trouble. Take that wrap in and around behind his wrist. Get to see he quenches that fist. Remember, he's a Western Australian from right out in the Western States. Boy, the bull that he's drawn, really making him work hard. Mr. Too Good. Well, man, tell you what, the cameraman just got a little shakedown right at this point in time. Ease it up. Let's hope that it happens this time. Still having a little trouble. What he'll do, folks, he'll take all the time that's required. It's an important factor of bull riding. You need to get the opportunity that you deserve. You need to get a good, strong start. And of course, even though that bull's trying to break his concentration, he's not going to weaken with her. Okay, we're set, Sydney. Final man of the bull riding from Western Australia. Well, not the finish the Australian riders would have liked here in the competition. Unfortunately, he will take a no score. The boy from Gin Gin, Wade McCarthy. Well, we'll just take the reserves back out of there and, of course, clear the pen, clear the arena, as we can then move on to the next part and facet of our rodeo competition and series here in Sydney. Well, we saw most of them head in the right direction. We just had one straggler that wasn't that keen to participate. He said, I'll go, but I'll go exactly when I'm ready. Don't forget, tomorrow night, 6:30, we're back here in the Spotless Arena with a lot more rodeo action right till the very, very last day of our Sydney Royal Easter Show. The rodeo plays a major part in the entertainment group each and every year. From the very first time the show was staged at the old Paddington Showground, well, ladies and gentlemen, that does wind down. It draws to a close our 2016 International Rodeo Series between the arch rivals Australia and New Zealand. And tonight it was New Zealand 16, Australia 21. But more importantly, the 2016 International Rodeo Champions were the green and gold, the pride of rural and regional Australia, from all states represented. Let's hear it for Team Australia, Robert Bendy. We've got contestants from Western Australia, New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria. And folks, they're humble in defeat. Let's hear it for the Kiwis, Ross Dowling and the New Zealand Cowboys. What a series was staged here in the Spotless Arena. The body's a little battered, the body's a little bruised, but tonight all honours must go to, of course, the team of Australian Cowboys that pursued what has been a tough week here in Sydney. And ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you've enjoyed the series. It's been an absolute pleasure to have rodeo and international events back here at the Spotless Arena. And don't forget, we will be back next year for another international series. Enjoy the rest of our Sydney Royal Easter Show. And of course, at this point of time, I'd like you to turn to the big screen and we'll have a word from our sponsors. Thanks, guys.